Hello everyone and welcome to the Erasmus talk show. I am your host Manu Colombo. This project of this little series of episodes has arisen when we were talking about what we will have in memories after this Erasmus. And I am today with two guests that are also two close friends, Lily and Grace. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Maybe you can introduce yourself first.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Grace Gonzalez. I am Mexican and I'm 22 years old, and I'm studying international business.
Lily.
Hi everyone, I'm Lily. I'm 21 years old. I'm Brazilian, and in Brazil I study English, literature, and languages, but here I'm focusing on European studies.
Okay, thank you. So, first question, how long have you been staying here in Magdeburg in Germany?
I think for 4 months.
Yeah, 4 months, 3.5.
Yeah, something like this, I think. For everyone, we're gonna stay just 5 months in
5
total.
months. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there any cultural difference that you have experienced between Germany and your country? Well, first in general, and then in the way you study, in the way you go to classes. How are the classes conducted?
For starters, I think in Brazil we don't have this distinction between seminars, lectures, and exercise sessions. Usually, we have the course, and throughout the course, the professors they get to decide how many exercise sessions we're gonna do and how many lectures. So it can be a whole month of lectures and a seminar or an exercise section, or they are usually not as defined as here in Germany.
Okay, and was it hard to adapt to?
Yeah, I'm still adapting actually. But I think it's interesting to experience a new system.
Okay, and you, Grace?
Yeah, for me, I think it's the same. In Mexico, it doesn't exist this concept of tutorial, but I really like it. I think it's different because you can interact with your classmates, and then you can practice what you have learned, and the professor will give you some solutions. So you have an idea if you're doing well in the lecture, or if you have to pay more attention to certain details. For me, it wasn't difficult to adapt. Actually, I would suggest to implement this in my university because I really like it. And I know that for some study programs, it's not the same as, for example, European studies. I'm not sure if you have tutorials, but in which way?
No.
No.
No, right?
In the class I'm taking.
Okay, well, as I'm studying business, in the tutorial we have exercises. So I think it's really useful to practice. And as in here we have just a final exam, I think it really helps to start reviewing everything and just to be prepared for your final exam.
Okay, and I want to talk a little bit more about about education and how it's perceived in your country. So my question is, does education have a big impact on social demarcation or not? Is it really something that is important? How is it perceived?
Yeah, no, we were actually talking about it because Brazil and Mexico are very similar in this area because we have public and private schools, and I don't know how this works here in Europe, but in the United States, for example, public and private schools have very similar systems and very similar qualities. They're both great school systems, and if you go to a public or a private school, your education is going to be good either way. But in Brazil, it's a little bit different. In public schools, the education is usually not that great. And private, it's very, very great. Usually in private school, people get the best education. They get to better colleges. And in public, not so much. They end up getting jobs even still at high school. And usually public school students don't have much time to focus on studies or even not encouraged enough to go to college or to pursue their dreams or their interests. So basically, there's a very big difference between private school kids and public school kids, and this impacts on the obviously on the job market and on everything throughout public school kids' life.
Okay, and you're from Mexico?
Yeah, well, in Mexico we also have this difference between public and private. I think it's almost the same, but well, yeah, just talking about the social demarcation, I think Mexico is a abscribed status country. So this means that your background, where did you study, who is your family, really influences or impact your opportunities in the labor market. So talking about job opportunities, when you graduate and you come from a private university, you may be viewed as if you were more prepared than a student that went to a public university, which is not true because, yeah, as Lily said, the main difference is that private universities have more advantages regarding, technology programs to go abroad, but public universities also have it, but it really depends on each student's opportunities related to economical factors.
Mm-hmm.
So I think both universities, public and private, are good, but this is a problem. Like you may be seen as better prepared or not that good depending on where did you study.
And does the government help to fight against social demarcation in the educational field? And if so, how?
Yeah, I think the government helps, and I think what they do is that they try to improve constantly the study programs in public universities so that the level is as high as private universities. Some public universities also have these partnerships with universities from other countries, from the United States, that helps complement the study programs that we have, so that this advantage of private universities is not that evident. And also, before, it wasn't, for example, there were just 2,000 spots for new generations, like from the people that were finishing high school. And I think right now, after the pandemic, I think the universities have adapted to have their study programs online. So right now, more students have the chance to join a study program even if it's online. So if the university doesn't have the physical capacity to have 6,000, they can just follow courses online, and I think this helps a lot with this helps reducing the percentage of people that are not studying because of that they cannot afford a private university and that there aren't enough spots in public universities. So I think it's getting better and better, so it's just about time so that both systems, like private and public, are just the same.
Okay, and you, Lily?
Yeah, we have this system called cotas in Portuguese. It's a system where the government save some spots in universities for public school people and minorities and people with special needs. So everyone can have the opportunity to go to university regardless of they having a grade that is superior superior to a private school's person's grade.
Okay, well, very interesting. I would like now to talk about the EU and from an external perspective. The first question that I have is, what surprised you the most when you arrived in Europe? So I know you arrived directly in Germany and you in Spain. What struck you the most? It can be anything.
Trains, the train system. The public transportation in general, actually. In Brazil, I was not used to use public transportation. I always had my parents driving me around, or I would walk, because public transportation in Brazil is not exactly safe. So it goes into a matter of safety as well. So I think safety and public transportation.
Okay, and for you, Grace?
For me, well, I arrived in Spain and in Madrid, so it's a big city, so I actually didn't feel that different regarding the lifestyle, because in Mexico I live in one of the most, like it's a big city. But when I arrived in Magdeburg, that's when I said, like, what am I doing here? No, I'm just joking. But yeah, when I arrived in Magdeburg, the first thing that I could perceive is the lifestyle of people. And well, considering that in here most of the people are old, I could perceive like this low pace lifestyle, like just people riding their bikes and walking, like just enjoying life. So it was shocking for me. And public transportation as well. I loved using the tram. I love that I can just walk to the supermarket, because yes, as I said, I live in a big city and public transportation is not as good as in here. So this is something that really impacted me, I think. And also culture. I knew the Germans were different from, of course, Mexicans, but it's not the same as just experiencing yourself. And yeah, I think it's just this.
And is there anything that you weren't expecting and that happened, or like something that you were expecting and that didn't happen, like prejudices?
Yeah. I have something to say. Like I have another currency in my country, Mexican peso, and of course, coming to Europe, you are gonna use euros. So before coming here, you really have to think about like how am I gonna have money? Like, do I have to open an European bank account? All this stuff. So when you first arrive, you need to have money, of course. And people told me like, oh no, don't worry, you can just pay with your card, with your regular card from Mexico in Germany, and then when you have your apartment and everything, you can just open a German bank account. And I said like, okay, it's great. And I arrived and I just found out that in Germany they don't accept cards, like literally nowhere. They just simply don't accept them. And at first I thought like, oh, maybe just one place, but no, like, or at least here in Magdeburg. Of course in Berlin it's different because it's a big city, but that really shocked me. And the other thing that I wasn't expecting is that I thought it was gonna be more difficult to make friends. And I know that we are not in the same context as if we would move just to Germany, because we are living together with our other Erasmus students. So I think everyone have this open-minded mentality of getting to know other people. But at least in Mexico, everyone says that it's difficult to make friends that are from Europe or from specific countries. So Germany, I was expecting to be more difficult, but it wasn't.
And you, Lily?
I think the biggest shock for me was the language, because like, I
but you knew you were coming to Germany. What was the surprise?
Yeah, I knew, but
German?
I talked to some international students before I came here, and they were all like, oh, don't worry, everyone speaks English, like literally everywhere. And I was like, okay, I can handle that. I speak English, so it's gonna be fine. And on my first day, I had to do a COVID test, and I went to a pharmacy, and they didn't speak English at all. And I was just, I don't know, I think I knew that like not every place was gonna speak English, but it's just different when you arrive somewhere and it hits you like that the person on the other side cannot understand you and you cannot understand them, and it's just like, I don't know, it's shocking, So yeah, I knew that, but feeling it was different.
Okay, so you had like ideas of how Germany was and how it works, and I wanted to ask like what relationship, diplomatic, economic relationship does your country have with Germany and with Europe, with the European Union in general, and do you think it influenced the way you perceived like Europe in general?
Yeah, of course. Well, from Mexico, we mainly have commercial and cultural relationships with the European Union. So I know that since 2000 we have this trade agreement with the European Union, and some years ago they were trying to make a new agreement because it was first created like 22 years ago. So of course the context changes, everything like the economical context and political, it is changing. So I know that in 2020 they just concluded their negotiations and they are just waiting to all the members from the European Union to sign it, and as well as the Mexican Senate. So that's for commercial relationships. Actually, the European Union is the like second biggest partner of Mexico. Of course, the first one is the United States because we are so close. And I was actually talking to Lily about this. In Mexico, we have special. It's like a special event that we have a book fair every year, and in some weeks it is just focused on European authors. So, but it's huge. Like it's national, and in every state you can find this book fair. And yeah, I think we have some cultural influences in Mexico from Europe, and of course it also influences the perception that we have from these countries, and it makes it even more interesting to come here because it's not the same as just knowing stuff from Europe, from your country, than to actually being here.
And you, Lily?
I think as South Americans in high school, we learn obviously about some main events in European history, like French Revolution and World War II. But like we don't dig deep into it because it feels so distant, like it's across the ocean. It was a long time ago, so it doesn't feel like our history as Brazilians. Even though we have a lot of immigrant families, Brazil is a very like we have lots of cultures and lots of immigrant families, so it should feel like our history too. But for some reason, it ends up just being something distant. But we have, in south of Brazil at least, I'm from south, we have lots of immigrant families. My family is descending from Italy, so I had contact since I was a child with Italian kitchen, like pasta, ossobuco, homemade pizza, and also in my neighborhood there are some German families, so I knew something about German culture before coming here. And I think basically having this contact and this exchange with these immigrant families inside Brazil is our way to connect with Europe.
Okay. And then, like from what I understand, Europe has like a positive reputation, right? Is there anything like that was really something that you could commonly hear in your countries, and that is absolutely not true here? Like,
I think it's more of a generalization, like that Germans, like specifically, are I wouldn't say rude, but like more
Cold-hearted.
yeah, cold, and yeah, just a little bit. And I think that's not true. I think we generalize a lot, like as we do with lots of cultures. Every single German person I met here was like nice. Not everyone, of course, but most of them. And I don't think this is a true stereotype at all. I think this comes from the fact that Germans are more straightforward in a conversation than Brazilians. We like we step on eggs a lot when we're talking, like in friendships, in relationships, in work relationships. So I think when someone comes and like tell you straightforward what you have to do, what they want from you, or how they feel, you sometimes feel scared as a Brazilian. So, but that was something that for me it was a positive surprise, like to learn that this is not a negative thing. It's just another way of viewing life.
Okay, and you, Grace?
Well, you already talked about Germans, and I think I'm gonna talk about French.
Go on.
Go on.
Spill the tea. Spill the tea.
No, but first, I want to say that these stereotypes and ideas that we have from other European countries, it really depends on each person's experience. So I think in Mexico, everyone says that French are arrogant a little bit, and that you are too fond of your language, so that you are not used to speaking English when there are tourists in France, and of course that you do, but you don't like to. And I think for me, in my experience, that's not true.
Because you went to Paris, literally.
Yeah, I went to Paris, and I don't know why, but everyone, like the French people that I know here, everyone asks me, "Oh my God, like how did French people treated you?" And I was like, "No, it was fine." But I don't think that you're arrogant. I think just this cultural difference that maybe we're warmer and we like this. Yeah, we like people to talk to us like softly, and this is not. No, but when you come to another country, you have to know that it's not the same. Like you need to be prepared for this multicultural experience. So, I've met some French people here, Thomas, you, Matteo, and I think you're a really good representation of France. And when I go back to Mexico, I'm gonna say like, no, that's not true. Like French are nice and they speak English. And even when I was in Paris, I asked an old lady to take a picture of me, and she didn't speak French. No, of course she spoke French. I don't speak French. She didn't speak English, but anyway, like she wasn't mad or anything. Like she helped me. So I think it depends on. It's subjective. Like each person experience.
Okay. One of the last question I want to ask you is after learning about the EU through your courses, EU governance, and traveling to Paris, for example, would you live there? And if so, why? Because we talked about like leaving your country, home country, and it's of course really complicated. Why would you move in Europe? Like what will motivate you?
Okay, yeah, I would live in Europe. And well, the reasons are, I think, quality of life here is higher. Job opportunities, I think they are better, and salaries as well. Thinking about like really, really like a long-term future, if we're thinking about having like family or something, education is free and high quality for everyone. And I think in Europe, people have that's my perception. I don't know if it's true, but when I compare with Mexico, I think here in Europe, people have this balance between your job and your personal life. Like you also have time to be with your family and travel. So just to say an example, like in Mexico, the people have only 6 days of vacations in their first year of like when they are working. And I know that here in Europe, well, it depends on each country, but you told me that in France it's 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So I think I have, I would like to have this in my country someday. But now, well, at first I was thinking about moving like right away. But now after spending here 5 months, or almost 5 months, I'm thinking that I would like to try to improve my country. Like if I had the opportunity to come here and to see what your quality of life is, I would like to be part of the solution, right, in my country. So, for example, I think that not all people know that here they have different educational system. For example, when we were talking about tutorials, and I think it's a really nice way to enhance the learning experience. So I think that in Mexico they don't know it because students haven't gone to Europe. So I think that I would like to stay during my, I don't know, like the first 15, 20 years and try to do something better for my country, taking into consideration the good things that I have learned in Europe. And maybe after some years, of course, I would like to move. But first, I don't want to just run away of my country's issues or problems, because I think that that's the thing. Like, we have a lot of potential and really intelligent people. And of course, everyone is looking to have a better life. But sometimes we forget that people don't have the same opportunities as we do. So it's literally in our hands to try to make a change and to contribute to improve any aspect of our country. Me, I would like to help like education or something. So yeah, that's the thing.
Well, Grace president.
Both for me.
And you, Lily?
I would move to Europe. First, because I think meeting you, and you speak 5 languages.
Yeah.
French,
Learning.
English, Italian, Chinese, and German.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another people I have met here also speaks like 5, even 6 languages, or even 3 or 4. It's more than fine. And I think Brazil doesn't really have this space for language learning, and doesn't have much opportunities to like language learning, speaking like financially, because if you want to learn 1 or even 2 languages in Brazil, you have to like go to a private school and pay like a great amount of money. So I think here in Europe, this is more, it's not easy, but it's more common, and you have more opportunities for language learning. And I also feel like as I will have my Italian passport in a year, and I know Grace has her Spanish one, so I think for European citizens it's really easy to move around, like go to France, go to Italy, come to Germany, like without a visa or anything. So I think it's really great that you guys and us as
I am.
European citizens, it's great that we can just move freely through Europe and know different cultures and languages and everything, like in only, well, not one place, but in Europe, like so easily.
Yeah, I think it helps to be more open-minded. It's important in today's society. So, 3 or more words to describe your Erasmus experience.
Okay, I think my first word is challenges, because I have faced many challenges since I came here. Things I didn't know I could handle myself, like before I left Brazil. Like when I first got here, I came to Amsterdam and I lost my plane to Germany. So, and I was like, I have never traveled by myself before, so I was really scared, and I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? And I honestly didn't think I could handle it until it happened.
And you cried, right?
Yeah, I cried at the... Actually, I also had a problem with like the immigration, so I cried there too, at the border control, so they would let me in Europe. And looking back, I'm realizing that I solved it all. Like I did it. It wasn't my parents or a friend, or I did it, and I'm so amazed by how I handled everything. So yeah, challenges. My second word is emotional independence. In Brazil, I was a very emotional, like depending person on my friends, and now I'm fine doing all of these things like alone, and sometimes even like taking myself to the movies or to dinner. I think this exchange was great to teach me that I can do things by myself. My third word is cliche, but it's love. I have come here with like low expectations about meeting people and making friends, and also about Germany. Not low expectations, but like I was not expecting to fall in love with this country. Like I love how everyone here rides a bike. Literally everyone, from old ladies to children. I love how you can drink water like from anywhere. From yeah, you can just like open the sink and drink it. It's so practical. I just love how people trust themselves here, and I can honestly say I fell in love with Germany and with all the people I met here. So yeah.
Okay, so there are your 3 words. Okay, beautiful words.
Yeah.
Beautifully explained.
It was good.
Yours now, Grace.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna keep it simple. My first word is growth, because I agree with Lily. Coming all the way from Mexico to Europe, it's not that easy. Like, it's just almost 12 hours on a plane, and then arriving, and you have all your luggage, and you have to take the train. It happened something similar to me the first time, but it wasn't as dramatic as yours. But I lost my train connection, so I had to stand like 50 minutes in an abandoned station, like in a random little town in Germany, and I was like, yeah, but I think you don't realize that you can do stuff until you do them, and it's not like you're not able or capable, but you have new experiences, so I think it's great. And the second word would be learning, because, well, here I'm a bachelor student in my country, but in here I couldn't find any courses that match with my study program from bachelor's. So here I'm taking master's courses, which of course are more difficult, and the level of complexity is way higher. So at first I was kind of, I don't know, intimidated by my courses. But then, I don't know, I started to work, like to adapt myself to the style of teaching, and about what you said, like we have to read a lot of stuff. But the truth is that if you put effort on it, you can accomplish anything. So I haven't done my final exams, but I'm sure that they will be fine. And I don't know, it's just like a personal accomplishment and this satisfaction that I took this challenge of taking master's courses, even though if I didn't have any option, but but I really feel that I have learned a lot, and especially some courses we don't have in Mexico, so it's just interesting, like, oh wow. So yeah, I'm excited. Like, I always tell my friends, like, like I'm learning this in this course, and they're like, oh, it's good. Yeah, but anyway, the third word is connection. It's similar to what you said. As I said, in Mexico, people say that it's difficult to make friends in Europe, because simply, like, culturally we're not the same. And just to give you an example, like in Mexico, if you're a foreigner, everyone will try to make you feel part of the group. Even if they don't know you, they will invite you to, hey, I'm going to this place with my friends, or, oh, do you want to have lunch in my house? Like, literally, if they are strangers. So, of course, I wasn't expecting this, because it's different. And I'm glad that it's different, because, it's a different experience. But I was surprised that I could really connect with people in here, like you, also you mainly. So it's great that you can, even though we are from different countries and from different continents, and we have very different lifestyles, we are still similar in some way, and we can manage to, build this friendship. Are you crying? She's crying. Okay. Yeah.
Hard time.
Yeah. But yeah, connection.
Can you cut that?
I'll try.
No, don't cut it. It's nice. Okay, yeah, that's thing.
Yeah. Well, it was beautifully said. We were all very emotional. Thank you for responding to my questions. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Thomas, for the technique. He's behind the cameras, but he's here. And thank you for the people that saw this video. And I hope to see you soon in the next episode. Bye!
Bye!
Bye!